I'm Maria Robinson with CASA of Calaveras. On behalf of Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras and Court-Appointed Special Advocates of Calaveras, we thank you for joining us in recognizing April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Preventing child abuse is a community effort. Building up families with support and a place to belong is one of the first steps. It takes resources to turn to when something goes wrong and people need help. It takes a trauma-informed approach to care and education. It takes resilience in adults to be the one to show children the path. The Harvard Center for the Developing Child states that a key factor for positive outcomes in children is for adults to be the one. Children need at least one consistent adult who will offer them guidance and unconditional support. They need adults who provide them mentorship and are caring. Children could first find this support through their parents. Sometimes they can find this support through teachers, counselors, and people in the community. Shakespeare states, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. To be the one is to help a child to discover their gifts, their purpose, and to spark within them hope." In this presentation, Holly describes how community members have come forward to be the one for her son. Judge David Sanders of the Superior Court of Calaveras recognizes people throughout Calaveras County who have been nominated as Lights of Hope, each supporting children in their unique ways. Lastly, Jorge Espiritu, a child advocate, shares a poem reflecting on hope. Thank you to Holly and to Judge Sanders for helping us with this presentation. Thank you to all of those who helped in nominating individuals to be recognized. Thank you, Calaveras County, for creating a place where children feel safe, supported, and loved. You are igniting the light of hope. I'm Holly, and I would like to tell you how my son's life has been transformed because of people who chose and continue to choose to be the one. When my son was placed into our care at age 4 as a foster child, the trauma he experienced disrupted his sense of self and feeling of belonging. Because of his constant change in caregivers and unpredictable home environments, he was made to feel at a young age that he didn't belong anywhere and that he didn't matter to anyone. Children that experience adverse childhood experiences without a positive adult in their lives learn that they matter less. Every Sunday at church, my son brings a cup of coffee to a person with a disability so they don't have to manage juggling a cane and hot coffee. This gives my son a sense of usefulness, but beyond that, this person always has a smile and a loud greeting for my son, making him feel wanted, thought about, and cared for. This is being the one. Before and after school every day, one of the transporters that works with my son talks to him about how his day is going, encouraging him when he is having a hard time. Beyond this, she spends her own personal time coming to his basketball and baseball games to cheer him on. This helps him to feel like he matters to her. This is being the one. A dear friend of mine has 3 children that my son loves to play with. She opens her home and treats my son like he is one of her own. She makes sure that he knows he is loved and cared for in her home. Beyond that, she is teaching her sons to include children that have differences, teaching them to help and care for others. This is being the one, and she is modeling for her children that they can be the one for others in their community. In the last few years, my son has made a lot of progress academically, socially, but especially emotionally. Therapy and a good school have all helped, but by having meaningful connections to adults in his life, this builds his inner wealth. He would not be progressing like he is without these meaningful connections. Children need positive adult interactions to help them feel connected and valued. Children need people to be the one in their lives.
Hello, I am Judge David Sanders. I am in my 4th year serving as our Unified Juvenile and Family Law Judge. I work directly and indirectly with our children's system of care providers in that function. One of my great pleasures is to serve as the role of announcer each year of the award recipients of the Light of Hope Award. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month throughout the United States and serves as a good time for the community to look at ways to promote prevention of child abuse and keep our children safe from harm. Key to preventing child abuse is having at least one caring, supportive adult in a child's life who believes in their potential and provides them unconditional support and care to build resilience while inspiring, caring for, and transforming children. Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras and Calaveras court-appointed special advocates come together each April to recognize individuals in the community who have provided remarkable support to our children who are most in need by being a reliable source of care, mentorship, and advocacy as part of recognizing April as Be the One month. This ceremony recognizes Light of Hope awardees who have been nominated by people who oversee them and are overseen by them, by colleagues and peers, by affected parents, by CASAs who work within and without the care system for our children in need. So please join me in honoring the 2022 award recipients as follows. Detectives Nicole Alvarez and Zach Glanville were nominated as a pair for their collaboration together in working to prevent children from child abuse. And as their nominator expressed, it's impossible to recognize the work of one without fully acknowledging the other. However, they can individually be recognized for their passion and true desire to promote justice for children. Detective Alvarez is primarily assigned to investigate crimes involving child sexual abuse. Alvarez spends her work week speaking to children, the children victims as well as their parents, carefully navigating this sensitive subject. She is diligent in her follow-up with detailed interviews and documentation in order to build enough evidence for successful prosecution of these types of cases. Her colleague, Detective Glanville, investigates crimes involving other abuses and neglect of children. He regularly accompanies other agencies to the homes and schools of children where abuses are suspected. He thoroughly investigates these cases. He will soon be adding to his focus investigating cases where drug use endangers children. Both detectives are described as caring, genuine investigators who make their conversations with children calming and casual. They create an atmosphere where children feel comfortable to speak about their experiences. Mentoring and advocating for the children is not a necessary accessory to their job, but they view it as a necessity. Their dedication to serving children goes above and beyond what is typically expected of their position. Both detectives are also active in the Deputy Sheriff's Association, whose fundraising efforts support youth, classroom, and sports activities. These resources have dwindled due to COVID restrictions on their annual fundraiser, so please consider possibly contributing to their efforts. Next is Tina Baca, who is a paraeducator at Mark Twain School. She has been in this role for 14 years and has been an invaluable advocate for the children she has worked with. She brings light to the children, believing in all they have to offer. She emulates that no matter the circumstance, children should be respected and built up. She assists children in practicing tolerance, acceptance, empathy, and patience. Especially when working with children with developmental differences, she lets them know that beyond a shadow of doubt, they matter and they have infinite potential. Her nominator describes Tina as a beacon of light and love to so many children over the course of her tenure that she will warm your soul if you get to know her. Jenny Eltringham, Jenny, is nominated with great admiration as a school board member of the Mark Twain School District for almost 40 years. Jenny is described as a staunch advocate for children, believing in the power to help build the community and the resilience of children. From her roles as a foster parent, on the school campuses, leading 4-H programs, and as a behavioral advocate, she focuses on the service of others, making them the best better and empowering others to commit to hard work to improve outcomes. Jenny is humble and does not feel that what she does is anything extra special, but she has touched countless lives through her work. Marci Gallagher is public health nurse for Calaveras County. Marci is a foundation of wisdom regarding health issues. When needed, she is willing to research more to find the answers. Marci works with the foster youth of Calaveras County, monitoring their medical needs. She supports the children, making sure that they are getting the medical services that they should, evaluating medications prescribed to the children, speaking up on behalf of the children when something is not correct with the child's medical care. Her insight and expertise is welcomed by many others who care for foster children. Alisa Gehrke is a social worker supervisor for Calaveras County with over 25 years of experience in working with children who have experienced abuse or neglect. She is a mentor to many different children, young adults, and new social workers alike. She brings the value of family-centered decision-making and engages others to do the same. Alisa helps empower children and youth with her knowledge and expertise. Many of the youth who grow up often keep in contact with Alisa, letting her know she had a positive impact on their lives. She certainly is the one to many. Candy Gutierrez is a community mentor who serendipitously was matched with a child who was adopted out of foster care. The 10-year-old child had moved to Calaveras County with their adoptive parent from a more urban area to a much different culture than what she had previously experienced. The child had also experienced a number of traumatic events in her young life, displayed many symptoms of that pain, such as anxiety, fear, and emotional outbursts. Transitioning into middle school brought a different set of challenges that the child's parent could see she was going to need more support to navigate. Candy devoted 7 years to mentoring this child after immediately establishing a meaningful connection. Finding things in common, such as creative arts, a love of cooking, an appreciation for nature, Candy and her mentee built a relationship where the child could trust Candy without judgment to help her. Giving the child a space to have deep, meaningful conversations, the child could seek insight into what she was experiencing. When the child graduated from high school, she insisted Candy be invited to join alongside family to honor what Candy had meant to the child. Now in college, the mentee youth still considers Candy a beloved friend and will always be thought of as an inspiration and a light of hope, the essence of being the one. Jennifer Haskell is a volunteer group mentor for young adults through the Adventures in Mentoring program and Independent Living program. Working with youth in this role and as a professional, these young adults are transitioning into adulthood, which presents unique challenges but provides hope to these youth who have already experienced so much turmoil. Guiding the youth through their challenging circumstances, she demonstrates compassion, respect, and genuine kindness. Jenny makes every effort to help her mentees succeed, helping many obtain their high school diploma, enroll in college, overcome housing instability, and obtaining employment. Through listening and mentoring, the youth know they have a champion for them in their corner. Jenny gets out of their way to help. She goes out of her way to help. Finding a foster home for a pet cat for a youth who could not keep it temporarily, taking time out of her own vacations, record a message to a youth sharing her own college experiences as encouragement. Jenny has impacted the lives of many young adults in extremely positive ways. She is described as, quote, quite simply the best, close quote. Emilie Houle is a parent and community member who has served for 3 years as the on-site manager of the after-school programs in the West Point community. Emilie has always focused on providing a safe and enriching space for children. She provides support with homework, physical education, technology time, and also finds fun with art activities for the children. She empowers them to choose their own activities, which she supports and guides them through so they are successful. Emilie cares deeply for all her children and creates a bond by serving as a trusting, listening ear and being a teacher, counselor, protector, wrapped up into a single light of kindness. Corinna Lindblom is a school psychologist for the county. She has long been an advocate for children, families, and adults that have children in their care. Corinna has been proactive in child abuse prevention, bringing specialized therapies to the school setting. She helps train the adults who work with children to be trauma-informed and to provide care in a calm and behaviorally focused manner. For years, she chaired the Calaveras Trauma Consortium, leading community discussions on what trauma looked like, how it is pervasive in the community, and what knowledge is needed to prevent child abuse. Corinna is inspirational in providing a much-needed light of hope to families throughout the area. Bonnie Nolan is nominated for being the one to a young special education child. Bonnie helps transport the child who is in a special day program. Because of the long drive between the child's home and school, she provides a level of care that adds comfort and compassion to make the ride go smoothly. Bonnie turns up the radio to sing along with the child, encourages him when he is having a hard time, and thoughtfully checks in with his parent when the child is feeling sick. Using her free time, she will come to the child's baseball and basketball games to cheer him on. The camaraderie and care that Bonnie demonstrates to the child helps him feel connected and has built his self-confidence. Holly Stetson, along with her husband Todd, brought a child to their forever family a number of years ago and has shared their story in video at Resilience Rising conferences, First 5 Parent Cafe classes, and just last month before the Board of Supervisors. Holly has gone above and beyond by building connections with service providers that work with her family, and she leads by her graceful example. Paula Wyant is the superintendent of a local school district, bringing a tremendous amount of experience working to build trauma-informed communities. She leads through example, demonstrating emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and humility. She builds connections for families and students with the educational staff to feel safe and welcomed, recognizing that many people only need simple tools to support the hearts and minds of children. Paula understands that the whole community is needed to support children. Paula has brought to the school a project called I Matter, an exhibition posted at the school sites which has pictures of children and adults as individuals who in their own words describe how they are unique and how they matter. This is an example of how Paula leads by creating an all-inclusive, self-aware environment. Last and certainly not least, Fora Roberts is the program manager for the court-appointed Special Advocates Program in Calaveras and Amador counties. While the CASA program focuses on finding volunteers to work as advocates for children in the foster care system, Fora strives to provide a balanced perspective on the issues that are affecting families in the community, which makes it challenging to support children. Fora collaborates with a number of agencies, striving to create change which will strengthen our community so that all families and children have the opportunities to succeed. Fora advocates for children herself, serving as CASA volunteer for a number of children. Fora was nominated by an advocate who reflects that she provided insight into understanding a particularly challenging child who had experienced abuse and neglect and had hard to define needs, giving the volunteer continued support to meet the challenges that that child faces. To all of this year's nominees, on behalf of the entire community, I say thank you for all you do, and above all, for being the light of hopes and the one to your youth.
When the clouds cover the sky and the rain begins to pour from a height, when it gets all dark outside and you just wish you could stay at home and hide, a silver lining suddenly forms around the cloud, and almost immediately the quiet turns into loud. The sun peeks right through and the rainbow makes its entrance. It is smiling through heaven with pride and flair. While the darkness is nowhere near now, it is taken over by light and the earth is smiling again. For no darkness is here to stay forever. Sooner or later, light will surely arrive, however.